All right. What's going on, everybody? I'll let you guys trickle in. I'm the man in the chair, at least for the first part of this. But welcome to the stream. We see that it's working. Excellent, excellent. You get the little piece of Michael here as well. There you go. There's his full face. There's that beautiful mug. But all right, it's 3-3. We go to Chicago and we cough up a really late lead here. In which case, 10 men Chicago. We let them score 2 goals on us too. That was fun. But you know, ultimately, I think if you say you get a point on the road in MLS, I think you take it. Especially when Gonzalo Pineda, he's been kind of probably the worst in the league. Not even probably. He is the worst in the league on the road in the last, 22, 23 games, something like that. So, we'll take the point. We will run with the point. But was this a helter-skelter match? Yes, it was. Was this a game that provided some entertainment if you were neutral? Sure. Was this the type of game that you wanted to see from the Atlanta United defense? Not at all. But I think this kind of goes with our ethos, though, right? I mean, Darren Eales said it way back when that he would rather play, a 3-2 game than a 1-0 win. So I guess, back to our very first, kind of ethos. This is part of it, but it is a new regime, so we would hope that there is just a little bit more control, especially when you're up. But let's say hi to the chat. Where are we, chat? Where we go?
The chat right here for you.
Right there. Awesome. So yes, we've got Doug Levine. What's up, Doug? How are you? Lots of cards, lots of goal, not many points. Yep, indeed. Elliot Beaven, hello. And Atlanta bottled this one. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Chicago bottled it too a little bit. They had the early lead.
We should have won.
Yeah, Chicago's Cup final game. Michael said. Merrick Galoud, what a name. Honestly, what is that? Is that Scandinavian? It's not. We should have won this game. I got to say, I'm happy with the second half performance. Sorry, I know it's not Scandinavian. I'm just joking. Keaton Thomas, hope y'all are doing well, boys. We've got to stop giving up these winnable matches and settling for draws. Got to go all out from the start to finish to take these victories back home. Couldn't be better said, Keaton. I mean, that's just... yeah. That's well said. Bryant Lee, GP mess up. He should have brought everyone in second half to close it out, but we bench people and did not have a bench. I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, Miles Robinson starting on the bench. Brooks Lennon starting on the bench. Ronald Hernandez had a good match, to be fair, but Miles Robinson on the bench does not make sense to me. It just honestly does not make sense. Because Purata going to be taken off. I mean, we could have, we could have brought somebody else on for more attacking later, but it is what it is. We had the lead, and yet we still coughed it up. So, it's crazy. But I have a little reminder, a little sticky note that, so we're doing something a little bit new, a little bit different. So if you share this stream on Twitter or Facebook, tag us. And if you share the stream, we will retweet you. Trying to get some momentum going. So we'd love for you to do that. Make sure to tag us so we will see it. We'll retweet it. Let's get some momentum. Let's do this jazz. But, all right. So, yeah, it's a game that we definitely should have probably gotten the 3 points. Let's be honest. Like, for a majority of that match, they were playing with 10 men. And yeah, we kind of crapped the bed a little bit. But, you know, we were still pushing. The energy was still there. We'll give it that. But, yeah, I mean, the goals were really well taken. Almada, he was pretty much running this match. He didn't really get much in terms of on the stat sheet. But, yeah, I mean, that parry off of his free kick that Gutman scored off of looked like some training ground stuff. That was good. Yorgos Yakimakis, just a beast, just a flippin', yeah, goal poacher. I mean, and as well, you know, a guy that takes really well taken goals. Like somebody at the party that we're at right now called him the Greek Chicharito. I wholly disagree. He's not just a poacher. Like, he gets in the right positions to score his goal. Was a tap in, but it was a good ball by Hernandez that Gutman headed down, and then Yakumakis was able to just be in the right place, right time. Yeah, that's a little poachy, but his second goal, yeah. I mean, he takes a beautiful touch to be in space, and then he takes it really well with his left. I mean, that's just some really, really good stuff. But we will bring our first guest on. He is one of the co-hosts of Star and Stripes podcast on Dirty South Soccer. It's Tyler Pilgrim.
What's going on, guys?
What's up? Gonna get you on here in a second.
And then
here.
and then
Definitely, yeah, go ahead and turn on your camera.
Here we go.
Yeah, here
full
we go.
screen Discord.
Okay. And we're doing some,
Full screen. Yeah,
there we go.
Oh.
Doing some, I'm usually
Hey,
not the
you're all
one,
good.
I'm usually not the one manning it. I used to be the one manning it, but, after a year, it's, okay, here we go. Hold on. We'll do a little bit more. There we go. Boom. So, Tyler, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. And, yeah, man, give us your thoughts on this match. We're excited to have you, man. You might be frozen. Shoot. Yes, he is frozen. Yeah, this music. White Bat Audio. Okay. Shouts out to them. We'll transition back to just me for a second as Tyler works out his thingy thing. But, yeah, in terms of Yakimakis, guys, whew, like, the game changed when he came on. Again. Like, he's just a guy that makes us look different. He's just so good. So good. But, let's see. Did you guys retweet? Boom.
I'm back in.
You're back in. Let's see. Can you sit just a little taller somehow? Or scoot in, possibly? I don't know. I can adjust too, but
Yeah.
there we go.
There we go.
There's the whole mug. Anyway. Alright, so Tyler, glad to have you. What'd you think of the match? Definitely, if you like heart attacks, you like this match.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do anything for my blood pressure for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, this team they've got to figure out a way to win on the road, and they had a golden opportunity tonight and couldn't figure it out. And it's frustrating. Like, you know, you get handed this opportunity on a platter. You have Yakimakis that comes in. You know he's going to score goals. He gave you really more than he probably needed to tonight, and you still can't come away with 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, he changes the game when he comes in. Like, we look like a completely different team when he's on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talk about the difference between Barry and Yakimakis, and I mean, this team's always had a backup striker issue, right? Barry is just not cutting it at this point, and I wish I could say differently about him because I like the guy. I like, you know, what he wants to bring to the team, but I just don't know that what what he was advertised as is exactly what the team needs. I mean, Giacomakis is a guy that commands the presence on the field, but the thing about him is he does it from both sides, right? Like he comes in and he demands the ball from his team, and he puts the other team on notice. And when he's not on the field, the team just looks entirely different.
Because he actually occupies center backs. That's the problem. Is
he
that
keeps them awake?
Right? And Barry, he's just anonymous, and he's got the work rate. Like that's fine. Like we see the effort, but in terms of the intangibles, like all that type of stuff, he brings it. But the actual technical ability, the actual ability to even just be on the ball, it's just yeah. But it's not why we drew this game. Like we started with Purata and Abram in defense, as well as Ronald Hernandez, which a different looking back four. Gutman as the captain and at left back in after the red card. What'd you think of our defense in this match?
It was not as consistent as I would have liked, but I kind of expected it because, I mean, you're looking at, Pineda's always about chemistry, right? And you go into this match, I think, with maybe a few too many changes. Like, I get that you've got to rest guys. I get that you've got, a lot of fixture congestion. But you're coming into this match, and you're on the road, first of all. And that's when you're putting in your center back who's really only played significant time in the Open Cup. Then you're putting Parada on the right, which is not his typical position. He's normally on the left. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you're going to have the pairing of Parada and Abram, you need to put Abram on the left because he's left-footed. But, I mean, I thought Gutman did fairly well. I think Ronald, it was really a collective effort. And it's maybe not so much getting beat in the normal run of play. It's the midfielders not dropping back to help out the center backs when the time comes. Like when they get pushed back into their defensive third, and I mentioned it in the thing that we were doing earlier, but the center back, I mean the midfielders, they don't hustle, for lack of a better word, to get back and help out in the box like they should when a counter happens or when things are going the other way. But to answer your question, I mean, it was not my favorite showing. I mean, Atlanta has given up, I think, the second most goals, scored the most, given up the second most. And it just feels like a missed opportunity because if you can shore up that defense, which goes back to last year too, then you're looking at a totally different team right now, overall. And I think that's what's so frustrating about it.
Exactly. It's one of those, like, we score enough goals at times. We just are leaky every match.
Yeah.
And it's that, like, to your point, exactly. It's midfield as well. Ibarra, Sosa, it doesn't matter. Like, we don't shield our defense. And it's one of those, like, two guys out of your back line is probably too much. You could probably keep Robinson in. Do you agree, or you could disagree? But
yeah, I think I would have, if I was making the same changes, I would have kept Miles in. And if he needed the rest that bad, then you sub him out at halftime. I feel like Pineda maybe went into this match a little too conservative in the sense that, like, I get that you need the rest for guys. Like, Lennon has played nonstop. Miles has played nonstop. I totally understand that. However, on the road, and especially with the way Atlanta plays, you want to go out and get the early goal, preferably two, whatever. But you want to go get the early goal, which they did. But then the defense that they have out there gives something up that they really don't need to be giving up. I mean, that was a silly first goal for Chicago. Like, it was just ridiculous. And I'm not saying that having Miles on would have changed it, but at the same time, I think the whole vibe of the team changes when you have a guy like Miles on the pitch. And it's that coin toss. Like, do you come in hard and put in your best guys maybe initially and see what you can get in the first 45 and then make changes? And I kind of feel like maybe it backfired on Pineda this time. I think I would have done it reverse. If they needed the rest that bad, then you start making those changes at the half to take them off instead of put them on. Yeah,
and it's one of those as well. Lennon, I get it. He runs up and down. He's on the wing as well. It makes sense. Yeah, Ronald Hernandez had a good game on the left last match. He had a couple of good matches in a row. And but yes, Robinson, he's that safety valve for Atlanta United. I mean, it's like, if you do not have him at the back, there is a more likelihood that you're going to get scored on. And it's just like...
And that was my biggest concern with this, right? Was like you have a new pairing of Parada and Abram. And for Parada, like, and I like Parada. I don't think he's terrible. I mean, he's not the best center back in the world, but at this point, like, do you get rid of him because he's also scoring you goals, which is a good thing. But
it's a net positive with him.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, right? But like when you put he is not your safety net, like you're saying. Miles is your safety net. If you put on Abram and Abram makes a boneheaded mistake, which we don't have enough of a sample size to see that. But yeah, like at least you know that Miles is there to back him up. Parada is not the guy that's gonna do that for you. So I think if you were insisting on playing Abram and you do need to play him, you don't pair him with Parada. You put your safety net on there. You let Miles do his thing.
Yeah, and so I guess selection aside, it is one of those where Atlanta United we get them down to 10 men. But we give them a 2-1 lead. And then we are able to get a 3-2 lead. We cough up that lead. I mean, do we just chalk this up to it's just, an away match where anything can happen? Or is there something preventable?
No, I mean, I definitely think it's preventable for sure. Like, because, the excuses can go so long. And I'll just go ahead and say it because I've never been on y'all show and everything before. Like, I'm not one of the Pineda out people. I don't think that that's where we're at yet for a lot of reasons. I'm not saying he's a tactical genius. I'm not saying anything like that. But at the same time, I think you do a lot more harm to this team by going through the coaching carousel again. I don't think that's the case. I think it's definitely preventable. I don't know that Pineda is the defensive genius that is going to be able to fix this, though. I don't know if he has anybody on his coaching staff that's going to be able to really get the defense back in the shape that it needs to be. I mean, we always look for the on-field leaders, right? You wish that Miles was more of a leader. He's a great athletic player, one of the most athletically gifted guys probably in the league. But you haven't seen him step up as a leader yet. Parada's definitely back there trying to move things around and make things happen. But you're missing a guy like Guzan. And Giacomakis is very similar to him up front, but he's up front. That's totally different. You need somebody back there, or you need a midfielder like an Ozzy Alonso that's going to be able to keep things short up. And I think that's where it's preventable because, I mean, you look at the first goal on a set piece, and there's no reason that Parada should have been going for that ball. He had nobody to defend. And really, I mean, Westberg has to call that ball and make it his. And there was a miscommunication there, and you give up a silly first goal. It's little things like that in every way, coaching and players has to be fixed, but it is preventable. I think I may be the unpopular one for this because I feel like a lot of people hang their hat on this, but I understand the stats that it's hard to win away in MLS, but it's not impossible. And to win 3 road games back into 2021, that's all you've had. That's not good. There's no excuse for that. Like, it's one thing to not do great on the road, and there's one thing to do absolutely terribly. And right now, Atlanta's unfortunately doing terribly on the road. Yeah,
we're the worst. I mean, it is, like out of, I think it's like 22, 23 games, we are the worst with Gonzalo Pineda. Yep. And yeah, we're not Gonzalo Pineda out at all. I don't think anybody has ever said it either, but it is.
For yourself.
Michael, speak for yourself. But
I'm glad because on our we have people on our show that are like, no, he needs to be going on fire, everybody. So I get it, but
yeah. I mean, because it's going to unsettle the team as well as with the new players that are going to be brought in. 3 players apparently, reportedly, they have an eye on. Somebody is going to be brought in, but and definitely maybe a couple people leaving. One for sure, we know Araujo with his the double yellow or whatever it was, the red tonight. Like, make sense of that. What did you think of that?
So, I thought first of all, and I always have to go into this with the preface that, like, refereeing, I understand I would never want to do it. It's a frustrating job. I don't care if you call a game hard, you call a game soft. I've said it a million times, but just be consistent. And I felt like this ref was so inconsistent that he was almost like consistent with his inconsistency. It was so all over the place. The second yellow, I don't agree with that at all. The first one, I mean, yeah, there's an argument there for sure with the studs were kind of up. I mean, it whatever. But the second one, man, like that pull, I get it was a pull. I get you're preventing the progress, but it wasn't. I mean, he let go well before I think there was ever any chance of that being a yellow. It wasn't that much of a tug. At the end of the day, it changes the entire game because before that, you're looking at, Yakimakis is looking at a hat trick. You're looking at, your other guys maybe getting on and making this a route, which it should have been. I understand his frustration because I didn't feel like it was a yellow. And again, going back to the ref in general, I feel like his calls were just all over the place. I'm not saying he got them all wrong. He definitely didn't get them all right, though. And I mean, but that's one of the things that you have to deal with. Like, you can't blame this loss on the ref, or not. It feels like a loss. You can't blame this draw on the refs either because that's just part of what you have to deal with in MLS. And at the end of the day, your talent is better than what you showed on the field today.
Yeah, and it's also that. It's like, I think to your point, the ref, he might have been probably playing it for Chicago as well, where, they're down to 10 men early, and it's a possible, like, it's, on the fence a little bit. He's going to give it to him a little bit to, get them off his back. So, in that sense, it makes sense from the ref's standpoint, but it is basically he lost control of the match.
Yeah, and also, like, Araujo, he had just got his first yellow. And so he's still fresh on the referee's mind at that point. And, I mean, it was, I don't even know how long. It felt like 3 or 4 minutes maybe after the first one. But he was still very much fresh. And I'm sure Araujo had plenty to say, and so did the other players. So, and all that plays into it, right? But you could tell how much Atlanta disagreed with it, and I think it was rightful. But, yeah, you put yourself in a crappy position, and that was the moment that the entire game changed again.
A lot of wild swings for sure.
Yeah.
Michael is going to tag in here, and we'll swap out. There you go.
Tyler, how's it going, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
How is it going? It's going really good on our side of things. How's it going with you?
Good.
It's a draw,
busy.
Isn't it?
It's a draw, yeah.
It's
a point, right?
It's a point. It's a point. It's a good point, right? Because it's away. So I always take that.
That's what you got to hang your hat on, right? I mean,
I'm gonna hang all my hats. I have a lot of hats, and they're all gonna be on this. So, I got a couple of questions for you. I hope they're not too hard hitting.
Let's go.
And I'd rather, this is my favorite Guy Fawkes looking Atlanta United commentator. So I thought I would give you some hard hitting questions.
Let's go.
Yeah. Is tonight's game indicative of a weak defense, do you think? Like, overall, not just of this game, but is this something that indicates a systemic weak defense overall throughout the season?
Yeah. I don't think it's something that necessarily is set in stone, but I think absolutely it's indicative of a weak defense. I think Atlanta can come out of this with the proper moves, proper coaching, proper, corrections. I don't think I feel like Atlanta's defense has the talent to be one of the best in the league.
Right, that's what confuses me. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, they're not executing right now.
You have an arguable U.S. men's national team starting DP level defensive center back, and you are hemorrhaging goals many games.
Yep. I mean, you're absolutely right, and that's the thing. Like, obviously, Miles can't do it all. We know that. And most of the goals that go in, last year it was funny because everybody was blaming the goalkeepers because they were revolving like crazy.
Right.
But even then, it was a lot of just the cohesion between the back four, including the wing backs, and then that midfield just wasn't there. And
Midfield left him exposed extremely.
Yeah.
It's a little bit better this year, but would you say Abraham's inclusion in this starting 11 had anything to do with some of the leakage?
I wouldn't say that for sure, because again, I still feel like most. Now, I got to go back and watch the second Chicago goal because I didn't get a good view of it because of what had going on. But with that being said, I don't often feel like it's one defender. I feel like it's their backup that should be there not being in place, and that goes back to the chemistry and the cohesion that like they just don't seem to have. Like last year, it was you had this great attack, and the great attack couldn't figure it out. They couldn't connect. They could never just hit the back of the net, no matter how hard they tried. And it kind of feels like it's now maybe the opposite. Like the back line just doesn't seem to be on the same page.
And they're great. The back line's great, and they can't connect. Yeah, exactly. I think the same way. Next question is if GG starts and isn't just subbed in, is this game different?
I would say yes. I think because Atlanta didn't play a bad game in the first half. Before the red, even before the red card, everything else that happened.
Miguel Berry did something tonight.
He did.
He did.
Something.
Yeah, he did.
Kudos to that guy. And I thought that was going to be his first goal when it happened, but
not when you are running at the pace of a herd of fucking turtles stampeding through molasses. So
yeah, I do get tired of watching Barry go out there and get cardio for 45 minutes at a time. But I mean he's done something right. Like he drew the penalty or foul, drew the red card,
exactly,
second yellow. I mean, like that's great, but like you got to start scoring goals. Giakoumakis, I think, going back to what we said earlier, his presence on the field, I think, changes the entire game. And I actually feel like there was, and I forget who it was that sent in the cross. I think it was probably Almada early in the game. And I even said, as it was in the air, that would be Giakoumakis' ball.
Yes.
And he's going to find it. So I do think if you have him starting, the
boy doesn't just have a nose for goal. He has eyes, ears, mouth, tongue, chin, cheek,
all over it. He's all over it.
Next question is Westberg at fault for the Olympico?
No. Well,
I told you they're tough. Hey, you think it's Parada? I'm not certain it is. So I'm just saying.
I'm calling Parada for it, and the reason being, really, it's that conglomeration of players that were in that corner. But Westberg's got to be making sure Parada knows I got it. Like I yell at the U12 team all the time. Like y'all need to communicate. And
by the way, if you need me to come and yell at a U12 team, I'm open on weekends.
Hey, come on, please. I need all the yelling I can get. But no, I mean Parada went in, and I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to send it out for a corner, just get the ball out of there, and I respect that. However, he had nobody around him. Like all of Chicago's potential goal scorers in that situation were behind him and two other Atlanta players. So you have Westberg, and now Westberg he's got to command his box though. That's his ball.
Exactly.
If he's gonna be there, he has to be the one that steps up and says no.
Exactly. So I feel like you're saying Westberg was at fault for that one.
I mean, definitely partially, and it goes around. But again, the box is your area.
It's like Parata put himself in position to be an ideal other team striker. And you, at that point, have to have better communication, like you said earlier, in commanding your box. So, that's I feel like that puts that one to bed. Do you think this game turns the narrative around for Pineda at all? Or do you still think that he's like one game away from being in a hot seat? Because last game, there was a lot of calls for this might be a turning point one way or the other. He could be now in the hot seat. Like, if they lose this game, I remember Sydney was saying, we might start looking at this guy being gone. So, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so it to me, it's kind of two sides of the coin. I don't know what kind of rope they have given Pineda to work with this year, because we'll always go back to the argument that getting rid of Pineda, no matter
it's longer than Heinze and DeBoer, we know that, at the very least.
Definitely.
And those are world-class coaches. Well,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could kind of argue Heinze, but, like, you know what I mean.
I mean, Heinze, I still feel to this day like, I disagree with, whatever happened. Like,
Where is he right now? What is he doing right now? I don't. That's a story for another game.
Velez Sarsfield, I think. He's in Argentina. So, but no,
not a bad step down.
Yeah. He landed on his feet for sure. Or maybe it was. Oh man, it's gonna drive me crazy now. No, it's anyway. It's an Argentina.
No.
Oh, Heinze, he landed in Argentina.
Right, but where?
Yeah.
That's where we're trying to. All right, fine. He's looking it up. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, he worked out well for himself.
Yeah, he's fine. Golden parachute. He's fine. Yeah. Anyway.
So, but no, I still feel to this day like had things maybe not happened with the water
Newell's
and Joseph and all that other stuff. I think
Newell's Old Boys. He went to Newell's Old Boys.
Newell's Old Boy. That was it. Yes.
That's not bad. Okay.
So yeah, not a bad shout. But no, like Pineda, he's got to do better. The team has to do better because the talent they have, you can't keep coming up with excuses, right? Like the team has the talent to go out and play well. The team, when they're starting 11, their prime starting 11 is in. They have the talent to go out and go face to face with some of the best teams in the league. But the moment that prime,
do they though?
I mean, maybe not LAFC. And apparently not Cincinnati right now.
I mean, we haven't played those teams, so
right.
like it's confusing. Like we've been playing a lot of bad teams.
Yes, we have.
So I feel like the times we've won and the times we've tied, it's like I don't know. I feel like these are inflated types of flattering results. So I'm interested to see what we match up against when we play against the likes of Philly, LAFC, Seattle, things like that, the top guys in the leagues. And see where we fare out in that regard. So, like, I'm almost always like, you can watch your team dominate a lot of not great teams, but I want to see how you measure up against the top guys to really feel where you're at in the league.
Well, and that's why I always feel these away games are perfect opportunities to really build momentum. Like, you go back to the Charlotte match earlier in the season, and I said it a minute ago, but we always hear the winning in MLS on the road is so hard. Early in the season, you go and just,
I'm sick of that. I mean, I know it's a thing, whatever. But I honestly am sick of hearing it. Like, I get it. Like, I honestly get it. But it can't be. It can't be astronomically hard. That I mean, like when you see, like what do they say? Who was it? Jason Longshore always is talking about how the fact that almost like every team is right on par with Atlanta in terms of away wins. Like they're the league average. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But at a certain point, when you're a good team, then you go beyond the average. And we're just not there. So and honestly, tiny, like, it was like 0.02% below. But like we should still, that tells me we're a little bit below where we should be, at least on away games. And so that, like if you're like you just said earlier, we're using that as kind of a marker in terms of against really good league teams that we haven't played yet, like as a facsimile of sorts, then I would say we're not that good. If you look at the average statistics there.
Yeah, and then you got to go back and obviously take into account like the starting lineup that you had in those cases. I mean, Columbus was a weird one, right?
I mean, everyone has to do that kind of finagling of lineups and stuff. So you have to assume we're saddled with the same kind of hardships and difficulties that every team has. So,
but that's where Atlanta right now is having such a problem because when you don't have that whatever you want to call their starting 11. Mm-hmm. The moment that goes away, the team looks completely different, and the backups, the subs, are not even coming close to the quality that you expect out of your starting 11.
So here's a so I already asked you the questions I wanted to ask you. I have one more. It just kind of came to me right now. What do we need to do to get our backups better? I know everyone's always talking about starters. Everyone wants what are our next signing? What's our next big DP? Blah 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 blah. But like. Where's the Lorenowitz? Where's the Eric Remedi? Where's the people who are like the backbone, the guys who get the job done, who don't make the DP level, who give cohesion, like soccer IQ through the goddamn roof. Yeah. Goddamn was the 2018 team soccer IQ through the roof. This mother, I'm not gonna curse on this, but like Jeff Loreno is just coming into these interviews going like, I graduated, I think it was Brown, by the way. And I'm like, this guy is managing our midfield like as like a backup almost. Like, that's insane. So, like, where do we get that again? Is Garth... I haven't heard him talk about that kind of thing. He talks about, let's get, like, the big replacement signings for our DPs. He hasn't really gone into the intelligent... Like, I'll give him... it's not him, but, like, I'll give Atlanta United the Ozzy Alonso signing, because that's another one. That's one of those. That's a perfect example of that.
Yep.
Let's get more of those. Can we talk about more of those? I feel like we're not talking about it at all.
No, I agree. I think so. If it were me, if I were in Garth Lagerwey's shoes for a day and I could make all the decisions, you have to replace your DP, right? Like Araujo's on the way out,
right? Yeah.
I still think you get a really, really good number 8, like a central midfielder that's going to just do the job that your central midfielder needs to do.
Yes.
And then your backup, to your point, would be like an Ozzy Alonso, and the rest of them in the midfield, they're not awful. However,
they're average, right? We need better than average. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where you get somebody that's going to be your starting guy right there. Then you have you've got Ibarra, and Ibarra has done pretty well. Like this season, this is by far his best season for Atlanta. In my opinion.
I think it's objective at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have whoever that new guy is and Ibarra. Those should be your starters in midfield. But then, I feel like Sosa hasn't been that great this season. Take that for what it's worth. But whoever it is,
he's been hit or miss. He's been hit or miss.
They should be subs. But your Ozzy Alonso should be coming on, 60th minute, 50th minute, whatever, second half, to lock it down, to be that Jeff Larenowitz kind of guy.
Yeah.
Miles is on his way out, no matter how much we want to hope and pray that he stays. But that's another one where, you got a Braum who was marketed as like the next Michael Parkhurst because he's supposed to be so smart in his
IQ. I don't understand that.
I'm not quite on board with that.
Yeah.
You got to go find another.
Like, if you compare, like, I don't know, dude, what Bocanegra literally compares this guy to a club legend. That's like, that's setting him up at the very least for like failure if he just doesn't live up to that, which is really unfair.
And then you look at the amount of money that they just came out that they're paying him, which is like $680,000 a year.
I'll tell you so much, it's too much.
Yeah, well, to be fair to him, and this is please
be fair to him. Please protect him while he's not here. Because, boy, will we savage him.
Yeah, well, so, you've only seen, so much.
Oh, I could tell you about a particular Open Cup game. That was interesting.
No, I agree.
Did he ever think, growing in Peru, he would be bested by a second league team in the United States that doesn't care about soccer? So, here we are.
I know, here we are. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. But then, going back to the original question...
Yeah.
You've got to find another backup striker. You have to. Miguel Berry's just not cutting it. I will tell you this.
How about Machop? Just give me like 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds of you being very, very happy about Machop Chol tonight. Dude, this guy almost had 3 game-breaking dribbles against the other team. Like, he had 2. And in almost a third, and it was really impressive to watch.
Yeah. Took a few souls to that, too.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people have hated on all the subs in general, and I actually feel like Machop has been probably the biggest bright spot for the subs in general. To be fair...
but people will hate on him because he's just not scoring bangers, because everyone assumes... Oh, you bring on another guy, he's going to be like for Giakoumakis. I'm like, you don't understand soccer, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. So there's that. But,
Well, he comes on, and first of all, his height is a big deal. But the guy, if people were watching last year and the year before, and they watched the twos, the guy has gotten so much better on the ball. He doesn't run like a baby deer anymore. He actually has control over the ball.
Especially this game proved that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and even I do feel like he's at his best when he plays as a winger. You know, he got stuck at the striker position a few times, whatever. He actually got stuck as a number 10 at times, and what you know, that it is what it is. He's the guy you're putting everywhere. But as a winger, I feel like he does really well actually, and I'm not mad that in the future you may be looking to have to start him at winger for a few games. But it's your backup striker position that Atlanta's just got to figure out a way to get that. And
those veteran, like, just those signings that go beyond the radar. I mean, Jesus, like, if other teams knew they could have gotten Lorenowitz, they could have, like, in the expansion draft type of thing, that we snatched up Eric Remedi, Darlington Abbey, like, these types of players, like, people would have grabbed them up if they knew how, like, dynamic and amazing they would be for a certain team put onto the same team. And here, and they didn't grab them. They didn't look at them. And boom, MLS Cup 2018. It only took them one year and some change. So like, it's
Dom Dwyer,
where are those guys? I mean, I feel like Dom Dwyer's the whole thing is perplexing, and that's some black box stuff. So
Tito Villalba type guy, or
he's close to it. I mean, like, he's good enough. I would say he's close enough.
And he got you goals in the Open Cup too, which was good.
I mean, he's absolutely. I mean, he's leaps and bounds better than, like, most. I mean, that's the thing. Like, we were talking about at the party tonight. Like, what separates a MLS team with a USL team? Basically, the DPs, and then you have a backup like Dom Dwyer. That guy's gonna stomp USL for the most part. So, like, those are the types of signings you kind of have to make deep, long runs in things outside the season, like Open Cup, like Leagues Cup. Miguel Berry, and Machacho, I don't think are those types of guys. They're not there yet. I mean, I don't know about Miguel. I mean, it would it would blow my mind if he just started to have, like, a run of form where he's just, like, scoring a shit ton of goals. I just can't see it. And maybe it's possible in some universe, but I just don't see it. So, anyway, Tyler, just give me your last thoughts on the game. We're going to move on to the next guest, and we really appreciate you coming on. It's been great, dude.
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Anytime. No, I mean, final thoughts for me. I never try to be the negative, because I feel like there's plenty of negativity around the team all the time. But, it does feel like a loss. It is what it is. You've got the chance to go down to Orlando. It's another possibility. You get a win there, and you shut people up for a little bit, and then you come back home and you got New England. So it's not the worst thing in the world. It's a point.
Yeah.
It's a point. So you take it, you move on.
And we beat them at home. So.
Yeah. Yep. You fix it from here. I mean, now that game wasn't pretty, but you did beat them at home.
3 points, baby. Let's go.
Yep. Hey, get where you can get it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Listen, it was a real pleasure talking to you. I hope we can talk to you again. And we will see you, hopefully, maybe in the future. And by the way, like I said earlier, Tommy and Sydney are both more than welcome to come on as well.
I will let them know.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Talk to you later.
Thank you, guys.
Peace out. All right, and with that, I'm going to give you back to AJ to finish off. He's going to read some comments, and we're going to have a couple more people come on.
All right. So Mark, unfortunately, has to jet out, but yes, we are going to read this chat. You guys have been busy in there, and I love it. But so I'm going to read some highlights because it's a lot. So, yeah. But guys, Bryant Lee, resting Miles, but we still have a week-long rest until next match. Every point matters right now. No excuse for us to be 11v10 and to get a red card to be 10v10. Fully. I mean, it's, I think you play your best players, and then if you have a week rest, then you're good. You're good. Gavin Marshall, hey guys, I don't have access to my PC tonight, but here are my thoughts. We gave up 2 goals while they were down to 10, and we choked the lead twice. Aruju is super silly and should have never made that second yellow card foul. Chicago are in 14th place, and we can't keep a lead for anything. We should have won, and we need to start GG from now on. Subbing out Parata was dumb, too. Gavin also says, why the heck didn't Lennon play tonight? Ronaldo Hernandez impressed me again, but I'm still confused why we didn't play Lennon. Yakumakos was great. Gutman was the MVP, no doubt. I thought we were going to pull off such a huge win. Sorry for the essay, fam. Well, we appreciate you, fam. Thanks for the comments. Bryant Lee says, frustrating. LA made that foul. Either way, he should have not done that.
Mark wants to say hi.
But dumb call, but it is what it is. Okay, Mark, get in here.
Say hi.
Hey, okay, here we go. So, yeah, I guess the camera's right here, so if you want to say hi, it's thereabouts. You can't see, your head's got to be like right here.
Right.
So, hey, it's Mark Nichols.
What up, guys?
Indeed.
I wish the result could have been better, obviously, but always good to. Well, I can't see you guys, but you can see me. But always good to be on the channel. Last couple weeks been busy, but go home team, go Atlanta United. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the 3 points tonight.
Indeed. All right, man.
Yeah.
Get them safe.
Yep.
All right. So we'll read more of this chat, but Elliot Beaven says Chol should have been starting over Barry. That's interesting. Chol didn't come back to help enough. Gutman is top 3 left backs in MLS along with Palacios and Wagner. Stronk Veek. Doug Roberson said that Ibarra will miss next match because of the yellow card, and Ataruju, obviously. Dujo PP. Chol was great up front, but left a gaping hole when it was time to defend. Yeah, but he was playing on the right, so it wasn't that he was playing center forward or anything like that. He was, I think, getting some good balls in, beating his man, and that's what you ask of a winger who's not cutting in and trying to to score and whatnot. But Strong Veek says yes, biggest gap is in midfield. Let's see what else. Gavin says Westberg should have covered that like how he was covering Bernadeschi's corners. Yeah, and also Strong says and Gutman is boss. Indeed. But all right. So I think Ellie is about to hop on. Are you already on? Yeah. All right. But if you want to hop in here, turn on your camera.
You guys hear me?
Oh, actually. Is that Dennis?
Yeah, I'm on there. I'm on here.
All right. Dennis in here. Okay. All right. Okay, so yes, I can hear you. If you want to turn on your camera.
Let me see. Can you guys see?
Yeah, you're. Oh yeah, you got the logo behind you and everything. Wow, dude. Yeah, you're like Moondog hell right now, man. That's some scary looking colors, but yeah, aim it dude. Aim it towards your face, but
I'm kind of. I can't really hear you. The music's so loud.
Oh, is it? You probably need to hop out the club, man. This is a first. This is definitely a first.
Let me see if
Yeah.
I think this is a little bit better.
From the club.
Getting the eye.
Are you? Yeah. He's crying in the club right now, and. All right. If you can't hear me, this is gonna be very difficult. So.
Yeah. What I'm gonna do is just take the camera off, so that way I'm not looking dumb.
I mean, I don't think it's the camera problem. It's the yeah. If you can't hear us,
but go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear us. All right. Well, go ahead. Leave us your thoughts with this match.
No, it was a great match. Definitely for both sides. They both played really good soccer. I mean, for what it's worth, you could say it was a good game from Chicago or a bad game from Atlanta, but I think on both ends they played really well. At points they were inconsistent, Chicago was just very erratic. I guess it didn't really have a game plan, more of let's just survive and try to do the best we can. And Atlanta kind of came in with the mentality, hey, we beat them before. We're on their home turf. Let's try to do the best we can with what we got. Which was working because they took the lead. But, that defense it was lacking. Chicago doesn't have any really decent strikers, for them to take to score goals like that. But hey, and I'm sorry I left you guys, on the first half, but I had a birthday to come to. Really, I'm sad that they tied, but I'm happy that they didn't beat Chicago. So
Yeah, because for those that don't know, and I think most people don't know, Danny is both a Fire fan and an Atlanta United fan. So this is probably the perfect result for you. I mean, you don't have to really choose sides here, but in terms of what was a standout for you in this match? Like, what's your biggest takeaway?
Something that I took away from the game was how dynamic Atlanta was. Very open, passing the ball, transitioned very well. Chicago didn't really press them as much, or at times they didn't. So Atlanta was able to play their kind of style a little bit, kind of play without restrictions. So they did well in that, but they didn't take advantage of it, and that's one thing that they should have. Right? If you have the ball and you're controlling the game, that's when you need to put your foot on the gas. That's when you need to score goals. And I think they went into Yako showed up to do that when you should do that at any point, whether he's on the field or not. Taking advantage of having the ball and moving forward. That's one thing that stood out to me. What did you think about this defense that played?
Yeah, well, this defense, it's not on just this defense, but we are leaky as hell, and we lead the league in goals conceded. We also lead the league in goals scored. And that shows you, I think, pretty much in this match. This scoreline shows it completely. Where 3-3. I mean, we score 3 goals. We should probably usually have enough to win these games. But instead, we only walk away with a point. And that, again, is indicative of how bad our record is on the road. We have the worst record in terms of how many wins we've had since Gonzalo Pineda has come into the side. And that's about 22, 23 games. It's anemic. Like, we are the worst on the road in MLS. That says a lot. And we need to fix up. I mean, what do you think in terms of this, this lineup anyway? Like, was there anybody that's, did it stick out to you that, what was Gonzalo Pineda thinking?
Man, it's really hard to make out what he's thinking or what his thought process is. I mean, Robinson didn't start, which was kind of awkward. I mean, what are you resting these guys for? That's my first question. What is it that what are you saving them for? Are you going to save them for a cup game or something? Why are they not starting? Had maybe he started, it would have changed the course of the game. Because those goals that Chicago scored were really lucky, something that a veteran defender, or at least a defender that knows what he's doing, is going to react well to. Is going to be able to make the stop blocked the ball, something. And I think I was reading in the chat, somebody was saying, that, they should fire him. I don't think maybe fire him, but definitely ask, what is your thought process? Like, before you tell us who's starting and who's sitting, tell us why. And give us a legit reason. I think they need to start looking at his thought process. Because Atlanta had a good squad coming out, and I mean they played well, but not a formation or a lineup that I would have started.
And let's see. Let's get to the chat a little bit and see what they're saying. Dino, the producer, says we don't know how to keep leads. That's such a great name there, Dino, the producer. Strunk Veek says bad refs do this all the time. Try to fix a mistake with a mistake. Exactly. Yeah. On the refereeing in this match. Yeah. I mean, I think people ahead of you, I think, mentioned that he probably lost control of this match. But, yeah, what were your thoughts on the refereeing tonight?
Yeah, I mean, 2 red cards, 1 on each team, both playing with 10 men. To me, once you're pulling out yellow cards and red cards like that, either guys are being too rough with each other or the ref just has no control of the game. And to me, it's both. He was trying to keep everything orderly, but at the same time, the guys were just going after each other. And you saw it. They were checking each other, pushing each other. They were grabbing each other. I mean, it was a really hard-fought game on both sides. So if I was to score the ref out of 5, I'd give him maybe a 2.5, just because, yes, there were some calls that he did have right. And there were other calls that, like, hey, man, that's not the right call. Like, we could see that from here. I think as a ref, you should be able to really assert yourself and be able to kind of control the game, keep everything orderly. But that game was, no, everybody was pushing each other and getting after each other. I mean, it was a poorly refereed game, not to my standard, right? So I agree with the chat on that. Well, what did you think?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that he lost control of the match, and he's, yeah, he's probably been a little rash at times to give out a card, and then at other times he's not really saying too much, and yeah, it's definitely, yeah. I mean,
it was just a lack of inconsistency. It was like he was not consistent at all. Like, if you're gonna call something yellow, all right, the next time somebody else does it, it's a yellow. But like you said, he would keep quiet or keep to himself. So it's like, it's hard to know where the ref is at. Maybe, So to me, like I said, a 2.5 for that. Like, yes, there were some calls he had right, and other calls that he just, I don't know, he didn't see it or didn't want to. But I wouldn't say that the ref had influence on the game that much, right? He did with the 2 reds, but I wouldn't say like he directly impacted the scoreline.
Well, I mean, yeah, he didn't impact the scoreline, but I would say he impacted the game state, and that game state,
sure he impacted the game.
Right? When you when they're down to 10 men, yeah, honestly, Atlanta United should have probably put them to the sword, but we didn't, and Chicago Fire were able to get an early lead against us, and that's embarrassing. It's frankly embarrassing when it's a side that's in 14th place and we are in 4th. Like that, away game or not, that is something that you have to be able to take care of business.
Not just that. I mean, the guy hit the crossbar early. That would have made it a 2-0, 2-1 game off the rip. I mean, that not just them scoring that first goal, but if it had gone in and not hit the crossbar, we would be talking of a completely different match.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the ref had a big influence in the game in terms of the expulsions of the players and stuff. but also Atlanta allowing Chicago to play. And I mean this in a way where they're playing total football without the ball and not knowing what they're doing. Like, it was just random, like, luck of the draw type of soccer. I've never seen anything like that. And for them to score 3 goals, it was just crazy. So I know that Atlanta has a lot of work to do. And it goes back to the coach. What is your thought process? How are you preparing for these games? Are you even looking at any tapes or anything? Like, I get that you beat them the last time in Atlanta, but you're playing them in Chicago at home. It's a different battlefield. Even playing them away, their mentality is different. What are you doing to adjust? What are you doing to prepare your players for that type of game? Yes, I get it. They're not that good. They're not leaders in the division or whatever. But what are you doing to prepare your players to set the tone in that game? Starting your guys like that? I mean, guys missing, I don't think he's thoroughly thinking through what he has in store or what he has planned.
Well, let's hear your final thoughts on this match.
Final thoughts, man. Great game. It was hard. It was fun. Definitely what I wanted to see out of both teams. Unfortunately, to see Atlanta kind of be part with Chicago is not what you expect or want. You expect Atlanta to be a little bit better, kind of edge them out. They should have won the game 3-1. But somehow, some way, Chicago kind of just clawed their way back and made it a 3-3 game. But hey, Atlanta at least escapes with a point. Had they lost that game, it's nothing. So look on the bright side. You take technically it's a loss, but it's a tie, and you walk away with a point. Am I disappointed? No. But am I looking myself in the mirror and saying, hey, what did we do wrong? What did we not do? Yeah, I'm definitely checking myself for sure. So 50% happy because Chicago tied, 50% sad because Atlanta didn't beat them. But hey, we'll see what Atlanta does next game. Hopefully they prepare and adjust. But for me, for sure, Pineda is on the hot seat. I mean, he wasn't really before, but now he is. So that's my final thoughts. Hopefully the chat agrees. I think they do, because a lot of them have been saying that, they should fire him, let him go. So, I guess one last question. What do you think? You think he's on the hot seat or not?
I think it's getting warm, but I don't think the change is going to happen. To people's chagrin, but I think there's going to be a lot of players being brought in that they're going to look to hopefully solve some of the issues, because that is the case, right? When we have all our best players, we play really well. When we don't, we look anemic. And yeah, it could be something that we are able to fix through our acquisition, but I think it would just be we'll have to play out the rest of the season, I think, and I think there's going to be some people that are unhappy. But we're in fourth. Okay. We're in fourth right now. That's the conundrum. That's the fool's gold of it. And it'd be hard pressed to fire a coach right now that's got us in fourth, right? So, but Danny, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Enjoy the party. Enjoy Moondog Hell, man.
Yeah, man. I wish you guys were here. It'll probably be a next time, but I'm definitely gonna hang out with y'all again.
Indeed, man.
It was great watching the game with y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. All right. Take care.
Have a great night.
All right, man.
All right, man. All right. So we got Ellie in here. Hop in here.
Sorry, man. I don't have Discord on my phone right now, so.
You're fine. But yeah, we'll try to make some space.
Yeah, come on, man. We can cuddle, man.
Yeah, we can cuddle. It's fun. But yeah. So in terms of this match, man, like we we probably coughed up, the lead that we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
We gave them a lead that we shouldn't have. And Yakumakis, I mean, he changed the game for us. Like, what'd you think of the match?
I mean, overall, the game. I liked the game. I enjoyed it. It was a good back and forth. I didn't think we should have ended the scoreline 3-3. I think that was a little bit unfair. Well, not unfair because they won it at the end of the day. They deserved it. They fought for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely not something where we should have ended up at 3-3. You know, it shouldn't have been a draw. I think we talked about it at the beginning of the game where it's like, sure. I think going into an away game with this lineup, if we end up with a draw, it's going to be something that's fair for the team, even though it's not something that we should have expected for our team, right? It ended up as a draw. It is what it is. When we went down and they played with the men down for about 40-50 minutes, that's not the direction that I expected it to go to a 3-3. I thought we were going to maybe get up one goal by the end of the first half. Well, I mean, we kind of did, right? But like, I thought we were going to be up by 2. We should have gone into that second half a little bit more confident, and I thought we would have maybe held off that score line. It didn't happen that way, obviously. Triple G came in. He definitely helped the team. We also saw Robinson come in, and I didn't see much of a difference in the defense. Honestly, like personally, right? Like if anything, that change might have made things a little bit more shaky. Goodman was great. Hernandez was great. I thought the right back situation was a little bit comfortable on our side, but they were coming in a little bit too often, which meant we were open for a lot of left flank, right, not really even right flank, just left flank coming through for those crosses, and we were leaving those spaces open, and then we were focused sort of in the box, leaving that sort of half moon open for somebody to sort of come in and strike, right? That didn't happen as often as I probably thought in my mind, but it did end up happening a couple of times, and that's dangerous situations for us. So overall, the game, to me, not super comfortable. A good game, fun to watch for sure. I think we had a lot of fun watching it as, just as a unit, right? Like just
as a watch party.
It was fun.
A lot of ups and downs, but I think ultimately, if you're trying to look at it as a whole of like Atlanta United performance, we're not where we need to be. We
definitely not.
We're too leaky. We have some very questionable, not only selection but also, some moves as well, as you were mentioning, Miles Robinson. I mean, did it change too much? I guess ultimately you have a midfield that is not protecting the defense.
That's true.
And it's not only on the defense always. It's the whole unit. And if they're defending properly, and clearly we're not doing so, we concede the most goals in the league. We are scoring the most goals in the league, and I mentioned this earlier. This is pretty much a telltale of that. I mean, 3-3, we score a lot of goals. 3 goals should let you win a game.
Typically.
But we also ship 3 goals. And that's just not good enough. I mean, even on the road, but we're doing this at home. We do this late, constantly.
Yep.
Let's read the chat real quick. Ingest 101 says, I was not sold on our new number 7, but he is getting more and more comfortable. Me likey. I mean, you mentioned Yorgos Yakumakis earlier, but his performance tonight when he came on, talk about it.
Overall, I liked it, man. Could he have done more for the team? Anybody can, right? But I think for the amount of minutes that he had coming in also, we know he came off an injury recently. We know he doesn't have exactly a 90-minute game to play. So he made an impact when he came in. That's all we can really ask out of him. He pressured on. He was in the box. I mean, tactically, he did what he needed to do coming in. So not a lot for me to complain about. I think it was a pretty good game. Could he have done more? Depends what the coach asked of him, right? Did he ask him to press more? Did he ask him to fall back a little bit more, defend a little bit more? I don't know. The way it seemed like the game was going, I think he did his job. He was in the box. He waited for a cross. He waited for passes through. He participated in plays. He was pretty good overall for me.
Yeah, no, I don't think he could have really done all that much more. Really, he's he looks like he gives his all when he's on the pitch, and that could be also why he's been on the sidelines at times, because he's maybe just overexerting maybe. But
Exactly.
okay, Strock Veek, good night all. I'm off. Yes, good night. Oyam 1. We need a good striker backup. Barry, isn't it? Yeah, we know that. Him starting up top. That's just. Yeah, it's just not good enough, clearly. We were able to score a goal, but it wasn't because of him. But, yeah, I mean, Miguel Berry, we could harp on it all night long. It's just, we know he's the player he is so far, and it's just not good enough. That is okay.
Case,
we need to definitely, I think that is what they are looking to move on in the summer. When the transfer window opens, is find someone that's a competent backup, because it's just final thoughts on this match?
Not much else to say, man. I think from here on out, it's again like I think everybody's pretty much talked to source Steph is we need to get better defensively, right? We've had a strong lineup, and we've mentioned I think this is gonna be good for us going forward defensively. I think we're in a safe spot, and then we move somebody out of that team, whether it's for an injury or whether it's for another reason, and suddenly the back line falls apart. In this case, Guzano's also had a big impact, just because you need somebody that's able to lead the back line, and then you remove somebody else that's a center back that's solid in the defense and you need in the team. And suddenly a lot of it falls apart. And if we keep having those moments throughout the rest of the season, you can't really win championships like that, right? Like, you hear in football that defenses win championships. But and in soccer, you like to think that we give a lot of praise to the goal scorers or the teams that score a lot of goals, because that's fun for us. But you look at a team like, and I'm going to take this outside of the MLS, right? Like Jose Mourinho's tactics, where he plays games very defensively sometimes, and he really just had one with Roma, and like at the end of the day, defenses get you through enough at least to where you're in a position to be able to get into a good situation in games. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I fully agree with playing defensively like that. I think I'm probably more of a Pep kind of guy in terms of wanting to see.
I'll give you that. Like, hey,
attacking
man,
football.
I won't knock that, right? Like, I want to see attacking football. I'm not saying I want Atlanta to be more defensive. I think we've seen it with previous coaches where we get a little bit more defensive. It's like we try to attack, move forward more together, cohesively. I don't like that, and I don't think that's the way. But I think definitely we need to tighten our defense. And if it's not our defense, if it's we've got, in our midfield, man, we have to be a little bit more solid defensively if we want to provide that option for our wingers to move forward a little bit more and be a little bit more attacking minded. Otherwise, man, we're worrying too much about the defense. And if we don't solidify that, good luck to us, man, in the rest of the season. So
yeah, no, because it is fully that. I think I've said it before, I said it earlier, we're a little bit fool's gold. Like we're high in the division right now, but it doesn't feel like we should be there. Yeah. And it's one of those.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a long season to see if we actually end up in the spot that we are currently. Yeah. But appreciate it, Ellie.
That's it, man. All right, man. Good night to you all. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Always.
Now, y'all. Good night.
Good night. All right, so we have some forfeits that we need to get to, but before that, I'll read the chat. OEM1, you guys think Marcelino Moreno can help this team? He's on loan and isn't playing much. He might, but Yeah, I don't think anything will happen until Thiago Almada he leaves, and that will be the thing. But guys, all right. So it has come to the time that we will be doing the Wheel of Forfeit, and so with the Wheel of Forfeit, I had to do Red Ass, which Michael had the opportunity to essentially kick a ball into my backside. And here is the thing. Here's the video. Enjoy it. And we'll see. Alright, so for my Wheel of Forfeit, we are doing the Red Ass game. And Michael over here will be kicking it at me. Here we go.
I'm sorry. This is Jack. Spread them.
All right. How long do you think we should keep him sitting there looking like this?
Maybe see if we can get a minute out of it.
Hold on 1 second. We're discussing strategy. So like through the laces?
Yeah.
Open,
I think you should drop. Remember the drop with the side foot technique? Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. He looks ridiculous.
It's a nice day out. All right, ready?
Yeah. Oh!
All right.
Oh. Who's next?
That's right, man. 3 more tries.
Right? Look at this guy. Boo! Boo this man.
All right. So that was Red Ass. Unfortunately, you guys didn't get to see the Red Ass, I suppose, but we'll find out what happens this week. With the wheel, we shall spin it. Here we go. Who is it? It's Mike again! It is Mike again. Oh boy. Mike. Commiserations. Commiserations, Mike. But we'll find out what the forfeit will be. Alright. So we have Red Ass Game again. We have Spicy Challenge. We have Dressing Up for a Stream. Soccer Skill Challenge. And Special Talent. We know that, yes, Mark owes us another one of those. But, and Elliot Bevan says, I bet Mike. Love it, love it, love it. Alright, let's spin this thing. And we shall find out what Michael has to do. He has to do the Spicy Challenge again. Spicy Challenge it is. So, let us know in the chat what you guys think he should eat as the Spicy Challenge. Will it be habanero? Will it be ghost pepper? Will it be a Thai chili? Will it be on a wing? Will it be on some pasta? On a chip? What do we think, guys? I'm curious. I'm curious what you guys are maliciously thinking. But let us know. Also, let us know in the comments as well. But some ghost pepper, Elliot even says. I mean, it's a shame. I enjoy the spicy stuff, so it's perplexing why I haven't gotten it yet. But Mike, this is his home turf right now. The fact that he has gotten the majority of these forfeits, I don't know what it says. I don't know what it says, but all right. So Ghost so far, but all right. Well, if you guys have any last thoughts on this match, leave them in the chat right now. But yeah, just to recap it all again. I mean, it's a game that we should probably have dominated. It's a game that's the fact that they even got ahead is just, it's damning. But we were able to pull out a point, even though coughing up a lead late. Ultimately, you take that on the road, but you want more. You want more from this team. We are, top 3, top 4 in salary in the league. We should be doing a lot better than this. And frankly, yeah, we need to start seeing some better results and performances soon. But it is hopefully going to do better. Hopefully going to be better. We have a good bit of the season still left to play. Elliot even says midfield needs to do better. Yeah, fully. But I don't know if you saw.
Oh, no, I didn't. What's going on here?
So.
What's going on here? Fill me in.
Well, it's on you.
Nope.
And
don't believe it.
It's the spicy challenge.
Don't believe it. What does the chat say?
Yep.
Are you sure? Are they sure?
It is.
Ellie didn't want to be part of the forfeit? I think we need to do a recount.
Oh, no, there's not a recount.
Did you show your forfeit?
I did.
Okay.
And
how lambasting was it?
It was lambasting. We got some people that were or Elliot generously left some emojis, bitmojis. I'm not even sure what those are, but they're dope. Add more of those. Yeah. There's is that a squid? Is that the Hulk? Is that a fish? I'm not sure. But either way, appreciate you leaving those. But yeah, guys. Yeah. We are signing out. It's a late one. It's past midnight. Holy crap. But guys, thank you so much for chilling. Thank you so much for always hanging out. But for Michael, for everybody else that was on the stream, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.